All right, you beautiful bastions of freedom, get in here. It is Sunday night, the eve before we go into another week, ready to kick the crap out of some lefty propaganda all week long. We got to prep, we got to wrap up, we got to do so many things, but it's going to put us in an amazing position to save this country. So if you were down with this fight, you're enjoying the show, if you want to do any bit of sharing, that would be incredible. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn that notification bell on, and as always, comments, emojis, and chats make the world go round. As you guys get in here, make sure you give me audio, video, 5x5 over here, and we will be off to the races as your tour guide on this freedom experience. I take it very seriously, and I feel very highly likely that I won't hit any wrong buttons tonight, but we're going to have to find out. Make sure you guys stay in for this whole episode. This episode, there's so much variety to this one. You're going to want to stay to the end, and I'm almost like 99% sure we're going to get some spicy in here. There's definitely going to be some sarcasm, some humor. So as you guys get in here, of course, make sure those emojis, chats, comments are on. It looks like 5x5 is good to go. I'm going to do the obligatory comments, chats, and emojis posted, and then we are going to take off. Make the world go round. You get exclamation points. I like you guys. All right, let's pin this bad boy, and we are going to be off to the races. All right, people. As always, you can follow me on X at Braden LOA if you want a more direct engagement with me, but let's just get into the appetizer. Normally, I make the appetizers for these little funny clips, like a little bit of smack your head, that was stupid. But this one speaks so much to what it is that we fight. Okay, I'm gonna cue this up, and I'm gonna say a little bit, just a little bit of a tease while everyone gets in here. This guy is the mayor of Minneapolis. Okay, this guy on the right. This guy is literally your stereotypical cookie cutter lefty mayor, socialist, blue state. I mean, like anything and everything he can virtue signal on, he's gonna. From George Floyd to gun control, he has been there. We've covered it. However, I want to point something out. We're gonna go big real quick, and then I'll come back to this guy. Every episode, I want to try to take you guys through a journey of what's happening. Take all these clips, all these goings on, and really build a entire path through this, right? Because there's a lot of things that are going on from macro to micro, depending on how you look at it. You got a lot going on, and saving the country requires that type of dedication. Now, one other thing that it requires is setting the right tone, and I'm going to do a little bit of a short monologue real quick on that. So, when I say setting the tone, I'm saying, hey, younger males, disaffected males, younger females, disaffected females. You know, the younger males who feel like they can't get a job or can't get ahead or the system's not working out for them, or young ladies who would say, I can't find a man worth a crap out here on these streets, and it's this big issue of struggle because they're all looking for something. They are. And I can say this confidently because I'm coming up on 40 now. I'm just old enough to remember where I was, but I'm also old enough to claim a little bit of wisdom and some gray hairs in my beard. Just a little bit. And that's why I want to say this little thing to each of them. If you're looking for an identity, if you are looking to be part of something, if you are looking to be a part of something bigger than yourselves and find your place in this space, you already have literally everything right at your fingertips. And by the way, if you're one of the veterans of this channel, please send this out to somebody who this might appeal to. You have everything being born an American. You are fighting for a Bill of Rights. You are fighting for your freedoms. You are fighting for the country, for the next generation. You have everything to identify with a legacy of pride, a legacy of freedom, and a legacy of greatness that is born and bred into Americanism. Conservatism, as Rush Limbaugh used to say, being an American, the American ideals, all of these things, I genuinely think people are looking for something on the younger end of the age spectrum that is already there. It is already theirs. And I just want to point that out. All right, and that's really important. I'm such a baby. Surely don't be like that. I prefer a very deep voice with an amazing beard and a face fit for radio. All right, let's keep going. Now back to this. Listen, people. We're going to talk about something, and I need to draw a very clear contrast as this comes back up. Back to the Minneapolis little guy here. He's about to do something. I'm going to let the entire thing play, and then I'm going to point some things out for you real quick, because we're about to do a secession of about 3 or 4 Dems, leading Dems in the nation, that are saying something very interesting, and I want to draw it together for you. Watch this. Maybe watch this?
I wanted to get your take on the fraud case that has created political shockwaves in your state. Federal prosecutors have charged dozens of people in connection with an alleged scheme to steal money from a food charity for children. According to the New York Times, some of them are linked to the Democratic Party and others are members of the Somali community. The administration is seizing on the controversy to question the credibility of prominent lawmakers in the state, including Governor Tim Walz. What's your reaction to what's been coming out?
The fraud that occurred is real. At this point, it's not just alleged. People have indeed been convicted. They were stealing money from kids that was supposed to go to food that would feed them. People were stealing money that should have gone towards housing stabilization. And when that happens, you prosecute, you charge, you hold the person accountable, and yeah, they go to jail as individuals. They go to jail as individuals.
Hold the phone. Wait a second. I'm going to add a few little details before we go into this one, because now the virtue signal is consequences go directly for the individual, not for the masses. Now, I want you to pay real close attention to how easily this switches, right? So when someone does something bad with a firearm, it's the entire gun community has blood on their hands. The NRA is a terrorist group. We should sue them out of existence in New York State. We should go ahead and get rid of every other gun in the United States because, after all the gun owners are responsible for one criminal's actions. However, when it comes to fraud that's busted in a blue state, tied together with Ilhan Omar, the power structure of Tim Walz himself, this guy, and all of a sudden, guys, it is about the individual. How could you think this is systemic and apply one individual's actions to an entire homogenous group of people? That would be just awful. The hypocrisy is staggering. But let's let him continue.
Because you should rise based on your own merit. You should fall based on your own flaws. The entire community of Somalis or any other community should not be held accountable. You know, Reverend, I'm Jewish, but when Bernie Madoff got in big trouble for financial crimes, a Jew himself, nobody held me accountable for that. Ted Kaczynski, you know, the Unabomber, Polish, but nobody held all the Polish people in the United States accountable for what he did. And so in America, again, you have the freedom of choice. You make decisions. When those decisions are against the law, you get held accountable as an individual. The whole community, however, does not.
Okay, it's time. Clip the shit out of that. Because this dillhole is openly out there advocating to take away gun rights of Minnesotans through platform bans, through magazine bans, through red flag laws. I could do this all day long. And you want to know why? It's because some psychopath killed people with a firearm, and therefore everything went against the gun community. Every single thing went against Americans who valued their Second Amendment rights. They should give up their rights and their guns and their freedoms and their Bill of Rights, that whole Second Amendment thing, because someone was a murderous psychopath. But that is totally different than $8 billion in fraud. And I know there was a lot of people, and they all happen to be part of the Somali community in Minnesota. And I know a lot of them were committing fraud and offering open invoices, and then the government was just paying them because they didn't want to get called racist by the Somalis. This is all on record at the New York Times, by the way. That's different. You've got to hold individuals responsible for individual behavior. You cannot castigate entire groups of people, says the raging, gun-controlling leftist. And honest to God, this is why I do what I do, because these people think that the internet just doesn't exist. I could do clip after clip after clip of this guy making up all the reasons for gun control to take out everybody and everyone's rights in the United States because of something that happened in his state. I could do it all day long. But that's just one example. Let me hear you in the comments, the emojis, the chats. If I'm over the target, the plane is landing because we got to go to Gavin Newsom. It's going to get slippery, icky, and pretty gross because the Gavster is about to speak. But I want to point something else out. I've lined out the hypocrisy angle, right? Everything's fine unless it's something you care about. But anyway, let's keep on moving because that was just the opening salvo. So now to the greasy landing strip that is Gavin Newsom. He's about to say something fascinating. Let's let him talk. Short clip. And we're going to have some fun with this one as well. And we've got even more coming, guys. This is going to be a great show.
We have a party that I think needs to design and develop a compelling economic vision for the future where people feel included, to reconcile the fact that if we don't democratize our economy, we're not going to save democracy. And I don't think it's healthy that we have 10% of people that own 2/3 the wealth in this country. I don't think it's sustainable practice. The folks watching Mr. Beast, disproportionately 30-year-olds, the first generation in history not doing better than their parents. There's some underlying issues here that have to be addressed. We have an economy that is broken for too many people. We have a...
Okay. And this is going to, you're going to see why the title is what the title is in a second. You have a sitting governor of California, the 8th largest economy in the entire world, I believe. What's fascinating about that is he's rich himself, of course, because he's a millionaire himself. But we can't mention that. And the big way to save our democracy, because the democracy is going to fall apart, to save our democracy, we have to democratize our economy. What in the actual F does democratizing our economy mean? Because this is one of the new talking points. If you're one of the newer, younger audience members, this is a bunch of crap. They always do this, nonstop. And I'm going to educate you a little bit. When something gets a bad brand rap, they just change the verbiage, and now all of a sudden, it's a brand new thing. You want a great example? Socialism. 100 million dead in 100 years. Good Lord, I got to change that. Democratic socialism. Oh, well, if they throw the word democratic on it, it's going to be fine. It's peachy. It's amazing. Who doesn't love democracy? Y'all, this is how they do it. They just go down the road of hitting all these socialistic things, and then they go, but we called it democratic, so it's perfectly fine. We're going to democratize our economy. You want to know what that is? Hey, we're going to redistribute the wealth through an increased taxation scheme, but we're going to call it democratizing our economy because that plays better than redistribution through tax and spend. I mean, my God. That's just the second example, and that was just an easy one. Okay, now let's go to the next one. This one's fun. This one's going to get some emotions from y'all. For some reason, I don't know why, but this whole scandal in Minnesota, in a deep blue state with $8 billion defrauded from Minnesotans, it really is hitting a chord with the lefties. I don't know why. They really don't like it. It makes them all kinds of uncomfortable. Couldn't be because the overwhelming nanny state and provision state from cradle to grave in Minnesota was defrauded and there's no answer for it. It couldn't be that though, right? All right, let's keep going. Ilhan Omar is about to make an appearance. I'm loving the emojis, the chats, the comments. Keep it going. Share it out. Stim with a friend. We are setting up a Sunday to remember. Let's get it. Take it away, Margaret. Thanks, Margaret. Whatever.
I want to ask you something else that the architect of the president's immigration policy, Stephen Miller, said. On Thanksgiving Day, he posted, "No magic transformation occurs when failed states cross borders."
That's not what I wanted to happen. Hold on.
Something else that the architect of the president's immigration policy, Stephen Miller, said. On Thanksgiving Day, he posted, "No magic transformation occurs when failed states cross borders."
That's not the right clip. I'm going to pause that. I can't miss that one. You know what? No, I'm going to go back one. I think it's this one. Is it that one? I can't leave you guys hanging. I'll look for it in a second. I'll come back to that one. Let's go to something more positive. Man, that was really going to be a good cap on that section. See, I told you I was going to screw something up. That's okay. I'm on the camera. I'm on the lights. I'm on the production. I'm on everything. I know you guys will forgive me. We'll get through this. I will find that clip for you, though, because it was a good one. All right, now, this one, I find, you guys know how I love me some J.D. Vance, and I love me some J.D. Vance for the simple ability, for for the simple concept of his ability to communicate, set out an ideal, set out a vision, and then actually articulate it. I really like it. I just do. I just do. It's my thing. But, let's just listen to what he says about the consultants real quick, because I'm trying to draw a contrast of the slimy lefties and then J.D. Vance, what he's about to say. He's been on a roll recently, by the way. Oh my God, is all my stuff going to not work tonight?
We've got to be comfortable challenging some of these old orthodoxies. And part of that is welcoming people who are a little unusual, because unless you do that, like, you're not going to solve America's problems with McKinsey consultants who say everything the right way all the time. No offense for the McKinsey consultants, because many of whom are very brilliant people, but like, you need the consultant mindset. You also need the person who is just thinking about an idea because it's interesting and it's fascinating and it's not being focused on enough in the right way.
All right. I'm going to go big screen for this one. And if any Republican official is watching, anybody, for the love of God, pass this along to them. What he's doing is the quintessential reason you're going to win or lose. What he is doing right there, J.D. Vance. Okay? He's saying it's not about the consultant class, which is made up mostly for the population of Washington, D.C. It is not meant to serve the people outside. The consultants are meant to generate views and generate votes and generate momentum. They are not meant to keep their head to the ground or their nose to the ground and feel the emotion of the people. They're just not meant to do that. They get paid to provide consultation. That is it. But you still need smart people, but you also need street smart people. You have to have people who understand how people think, what motivates them, and the why, in this case, what J.D. Vance is doing. And then you need the consultants to go, well, that makes sense on paper, and then combine them together. You can't just do this Washington, D.C. consultant crap. The Democrats do it, the Republicans do it. You can't do that. That's why J.D. Vance has gotten so much airtime on these live streams, is because he's resonating to the point of, you need to give someone a why. You need to give them a reason to vote. You need to actually have them believe in something, put forth a vision, set forward a plan, and execute on that vision. Bring people along with you. Don't just tell them what they want to hear in order to get a vote. You want to know why the left is so irate at its politicians? Because they like to play this little game that, like, oh, everything's fine over here. No, they all hate each other. They're all pissed. And I'm going to highlight it a lot in this episode. However, you can't just do what the Democrats are doing and the Republicans are doing. You have to be able to respond to people. That's the whole point. And that's why I think J.D. Vance is so good at this. I mean, honest to God, let's continue. All right, listen, if you're here for me, if I'm landing the planes, emojis, comments, chats, here we go. All right, this is going to be a fun one. This is kind of the variety show, because these weekend shows can go this way. I want to take you by a quick little excerpt from Politico. Trump's plans to shatter the bureaucracy have green light at the Supreme Court. So again, if you're following the theme here, the theme of this show, if you're not picking it up yet, I'm going to give you a little heads up halfway through almost. The left is throwing everything at the wall that can stick. And we have a rebranded language you can do. You can't blame individuals for an individual's actions unless it's gun control, in which we can take all your rights away. You can't go down the road of inequality with wealth at all, so you got to have income redistribution through something called democratizing economics, or democratizing our economy. Like, all of this stuff, it's all over the place. That's why I'm trying to show you this. They do not have a unifying verbiage and mission. Anyway, here we go. Politico. This is another example. Oh, I already told you the title. Let me show you a few highlighted points here, because this entire thing is about how Trump is evil for wanting to get rid of the bureaucracies, and I'm kind of here for it. I'm going to be honest. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, because the bureaucracies are where the swamp lives. I mean, that's how Biden did it. That's how they all do it. If you want to know, and you're new to the political system, the way that they infringe upon the rights is not always through legislation. In fact, most of the time, they write very broad legislation for the executive bureaucracies to come in and just fill in the gaps. They can't do it as much anymore because of the death of something called Chevron deference in the Loper Enterprises case that just passed 2 years ago through the SCOTUS. But genuinely, that's what they do. They pass something broad, and then they let the executive bureaucracies, the swamp, interpret all of it. That's how the Biden administration did all of its gun control. That's how Biden administration did all the border policy. They did it all through executive bureaucratic levers. That's exactly what they did. You get rid of the bureaucratic state, you get rid of most of the problem. All right, let's continue. President Donald Trump's drive to replace agency leaders and his mass firings across the federal government are all based on the same basic legal concept, the unitary executive theory. It holds that every employee of the executive branch is answerable to and fireable at will by the president. I don't see why that's a problem. You're working for the president to put forth his ideas, his policies, and be his forward voice in that area. Why would he not be able to fire and hire as he pleases? That doesn't make sense why you wouldn't be able to do that. You know, if you didn't want to have all these people fired, you could always just shrink the bureaucracies. I mean, like, call me crazy. I've got a 3-letter one that rhymes with ATF. That would be a great one to put on the chopping block. I'm just saying. Throw IRS on there too. They can all go. The most extreme version of the unitary executive theory holds that the central premise of the civil service that rank and file government employees shouldn't be hired or fired for political reasons or simply on the president's whim. It's unconstitutional because it tramples on the president's power to control the federal government. Literally, it's the most comical thing. I'm not going to get too bogged down, but you have to understand, all of this is not even based on an existing case they're talking about. This is all fear-mongering to get you all riled up. This is what Politico does. This is what the media does. I'm going to show you in a second. Wait for the red highlighter. All right, I think two more things then to get to the red part. While it's unclear whether the Trump administration will ask the current court to dismantle the federal civil service system, rather. Some experts say the justice's deference to Trump in firing related cases is egging the administration on. Okay, wait, so this isn't exactly a case, it's just a potential. This is a real-world implication of the path that the Supreme Court is on. It's not an academic exercise, says Max Stier of the Partnership for Public Service. I wonder if he's biased. One hopes that they recognize that whether interest they've had in theory and practice, they're unleashing an autocracy. Okay, an autocracy. You work for the federal government, for the executive of the entire government, the president. That's the head of the executive branch. How can you say it's autocracy if you get fired because the president doesn't want you in that spot because he doesn't have faith that you can execute his vision for the executive branch? How is that? How in what world is that autocracy? That just sounds like a job. I mean, unless all you and I are out there on these streets holding our autocracy jobs. I mean, are all of our bosses autocracy? Or autocrats, rather? Working under an autocracy? It doesn't make any sense. But these government people live in their own freaking world where if you get fired, you have to get an emotional boo-boo because then you can't live in Washington, D.C. and go to K Street and get your lattes and pretend you're important. All right, let's keep on going. I told you I'd get spicy. It was only a matter of time. I'm going to jump right to the red. This is important. The case the justices will take up on Monday won't go that far. It involves Trump's attempt in March to fire Federal Trade Commission member Rebecca Slaughter. Okay, hold the phone. Come here. Big picture time. You're telling me this entire article, fearmonger about an autocracy and an autocrat Trump and trampling the Constitution, is something that's all built on a whim that doesn't even have to do with a case. It's a next step to a potential case they might take up soon. Let me read that again. Watch. If you don't, seriously, if you trust the media, or if you think they tell you or have the best interest for you in your mind, I got nothing for you. These people are manipulators. The case the justice will take up on Monday doesn't go that far. It involves Trump's attempt in March to fire the FTC person. Again, it doesn't even go that far, but damn it, they are still so concerned. All right, how are we doing here? We're at 22 minutes. We are cruising live. We've got the chats, the emojis, the comments. I'm seeing hearts, engagement. You guys are amazing, each and every one of you, in your own right. But now, you didn't deserve this, but I'm going to do it to you anyway. You get a little bit of AOC in your lives. But it's for a good cause, I promise. Because now the media is out there saying like, hey, so Jasmine Crockett's going to announce her whole Senate candidacy tomorrow. How do you feel about that? Can you like make her stop, please? Yeah, watch this. Watch this. This is so great. The where she goes on this, it's going to be so much fun.
Is it a risk, though, to nominate more progressive candidates? Like, let's say, Jasmine Crockett, your friend, is considering running for the Texas Senate seat. Yeah. Is that a risk to have some candidate like that?
I think it's people want this to be about progressive versus moderate. Every community requires a different kind of candidate. We should be celebrating and uplifting our young people who stand up and raise their hand. And I think trying to diminish this into some like progressive versus moderate debate is so silly and small. And I just think that we're bigger than that, and this moment calls for more than that.
Okay, remember the original question was, hey, should we be nominating a far-left progressive to take the primary in the United States Senate Texas race on a weaker candidate on the Republican side who's well known as a rhino, and all the Republicans don't like him at all, the MAGA people don't like him at all, the conservatives don't really like him at all. In fact, the only people that like him on the Republican side are the liberal ones who would like to call themselves ours because they live in Texas. So, you really think it's a good idea to put a progressive out there? I think that is a silly point. After all, it is not progressive against Democrat moderate, pray tell, even though I've been pounding that drum for the past 4 weeks since the shutdown when I openly said we need more progressive candidates against the Democratic establishment, but it's not about progressives against the Democratic establishment, and it's not about progressives against moderates. Where did you get that from? Got it from you last week. No, it's not the right time for this moment. Hey, I said the buzzword, this moment, so therefore it's got to be good. Y'all, it is mind-boggling. It's not about progressive or moderate. A week and a half and 4 weeks ago, it was nothing but progressive and moderate versus. But no. We're trying to make it into something it's not. This is the craziest game on the planet. They start something, they say something, they bang that drum and pound that drum, and then all of a sudden, it didn't happen. You guys don't have cameras? God in heaven. But there's a reason I brought it up. Because everyone's piling on. Because tomorrow is the day, people. We might get the best Christmas gift on the planet. When it happens, I am going to bring you a video that is going to be delicious. Because there's no way this woman's ego is going to let her not run for Senate. Okay, if I'm wrong, I'll eat that, and I don't care. All right, here we go. Greg Abbott got a little feisty on his X account. Jasmine Crockett is about to learn the hard way that most Texans are very different from her district, her base, and her values. She'll be pummeled for her progressive socialist agenda and get crushed by the Republican nominee for Senate. The Texas political cemetery is filled with blowhards like her who have no idea what it's like to run statewide. Looking forward to watching the circus and keeping the U.S. Senate seat red. On the bright side for her, maybe she'll end up with a job on The View. Ow! Wow, Governor Greg Abbott coming in swinging. I mean, he's not wrong. I mean, I'm saying the exact same things. She is going to be pummeled for her progressive agenda. I'm 100% here for it. The Texas political cemetery is filled with blowhards like her who have no idea what it's like to run statewide. And she actually might get a job on The View, and I'm also excited about watching the circus. I need more Republicans with a pair of balls like this guy. More of this. Less of the mealy-mouthed stuff, more of this. Because that is glorious. Maybe this will like poke her into doing it just to prove him wrong, and then she'll lose just like he says. Oh my goodness gracious. Nancy Weber says, please, Santa, I've been good all year. Can you please take Crockett back to the North Pole with you? No, we needed to run for Senate and tank the nominee first. Then she can go back to the North Pole. All right, now there's more of this. Guys, it's a dog pile, and I'm here for it. Still on the Jasmine Crockett thing. Look at this. Vote Hub. Just in, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett of Texas is expected to enter the Democratic primary for U.S. Senate, per Dallas News. Is she? Oh my God. Who would have seen that coming? I mean, I know you guys wouldn't, and I know I would. It was not like you talked about it or anything. No kidding, she's going to run for Senate. Of course. Her seat just got redistricted. She's going to be irrelevant soon. She can't be irrelevant. She's got to go into a higher office. And if she has to sink the Texas nomination for her own ego and her own boost, why would you not do that? It's for Texas. And by Texas, she means her. And I'm here for it. Because she's going to destroy any dream or hope that they have. And I'm here for it, people. All right, let's continue. It just gets even worse from here. God, it's so good. Political polls, Texas Senate winner and primary odds. Tallarico, Crockett 35, and Colin Allred. Man, I'll tell you what, if you're going to be Colin Allred, you're going to be pissed right now. Because this chick just came in a swing and just Miley Cyrus your life and just wrecking balled any hope you had of becoming in second place. Because Crockett and Tallarico are now going to go at it. And Colin Allred is just going to be out there just being like, don't forget me. I am so freaking here for this. And I really think Crockett's going to pull it out. I don't think the Democrats have the juice to oust her, but I'm here for it anyway. Let's keep on going. Oh, man. This is another one. This is actually Eric Dowdery, so this is a righty, to be fair. A righty, to be fair. Jasmine Crockett's about to run for U.S. Senate, and Gavin Abbott is promising she'll get pummeled. I already said that one. And then, of course, there's that needs to be a thumbnail. I should have made that the thumbnail. That would have been more fun. Oh, well, it's okay. This one. Listen, I'm going to do a kind of a out of order here real quick for you guys. This is the clip that I showed you today, okay? Or at least a clip of one of the things I showed you today, where the Democrats were getting called all the worst names in the book, right? Well, by the focus group. I want to bring something up to your attention again, and I might do a full video on this because this is really delicious. You remember this video with Frank Luntz? You guys can tell me in the comments in the chat if you remember this video as it plays. But this is all about the big dark secret. Democrats are real excited that Trump's polling numbers are going down. but they're saying something real uncomfortable too. Watch this.
How is it that people feel so bleak?
It's the right question to ask. And quite frankly, the only weaker party in all of this than Donald Trump are the Democrats themselves. The public looks at them and says they don't have solutions to anything. They know how to point to what's not going right, but they don't know how to solve it. They don't know how to change it. And in the end, the president's numbers are falling. That is a fact. In every national poll, he is weakened in the last 8 weeks, and it's significant. But the one thing that he can take solace in is that the Democrats are even weaker on the issues that matter. I would rather be having the Republican challenge right now because they have the levers of power than the Democratic challenge because they're split and they're all over the place.
How is it?
Okay, I can't listen to that intro again. That's a very high squeaky voice. Like, my God, there should be like a requirement, like a certain level of like. Never mind. I don't want to be mean. I got a super chat over here for Ben Rye, $10. Hey, Braden, I love your show. I'm leaving for Air Force basic training tomorrow, and I'll miss watching your show every day. Thank you for the awesome coverage, and I'll see you again when I'm done. Ben Rye, thank you for your service. Get out there, kick some ass. You're part of an amazing machine. Thank you for your sacrifice of your time, energy, sweat, and tears. And I am proud of you even being here. Thank you very much. Have an amazing, Air Force basics training. And enjoy the Wi-Fi. I had the Wi-Fi and the air conditioning. I had to do it. I'm sorry. I've got Marine friends. I apologize. But I do hope you genuinely enjoy it. That's amazing. I hope you get everything that you hope out of that. That'll be awesome. Nancy says, love your channel, Braden. Thank you. Thank you. Well, you haven't seen it yet because I left the very best for last. That was just the... almost got in trouble on that one. That was just the first part. This is one of my favorite things about going live with you guys is sometimes my humor is a little crass, like on the right end, and if I don't monitor it first, I'll get in trouble pretty. I'll get in trouble sometimes. That's okay though. We get through this. Now I'm going to leave you with the Democrats just getting wrecked by voters on a focus panel on NBC. Watch this.
And affordability, certainly one of those central reasons. And what's notable, though, we asked these voters about their views of the Democratic Party, which weren't exactly positive. Let's take a listen to a little bit of that.
What are the key characteristics or traits that best describe today's Democratic Party?
Elite, dishonest, scolding.
Pearl clutching.
Promises, no delivery.
Out of touch.
Dishonest.
Weak, unfocused, and grasping to the left.
Ineffective and old.
Kind of a lack of leadership.
Inconsiderate.
This pisses me off.
Well, I'm not going to watch what pisses you off. You guys get the idea. Man, how awesome was that? Inconsiderate, weak, and old. Dumb, grasping to the left, ice cold, nanny state, finger wagging. My God, that seems like if someone said something about Trump, I don't know, I feel like NBC's reaction would be a little bit more like, well, that was less than favorable. I kind of feel that'd be like, oh, they hate his ass. Anyway, that's what I think they do. Legitimately, guys, it's so wild. It is so absolutely wild. But I love every second of it because it is genuinely a party every single time. I'm going to save this one for tomorrow. That's my buddy. We're gonna talk about that tomorrow. But here's the thing, people. Listen. We have got a hell of a job in front of us. You've got propaganda going at you from left, right, center. You've got about 11 months now of nonstop, force-fed, paid-for propaganda from the X accounts on the left, from the media, from everybody. And I'm going to try to be your guide through this entire process because we have midterms coming, and the Democrats will literally cease to exist if they don't do something impressive. So you know they're going to throw the whole kitchen sink at you. Just like on the Kamala Harris campaign when they burned $2 billion in about a 6-week period, in a 6-week campaign. Is it 6 weeks or 12 weeks? I don't even remember. It was a blur of just blue. But we still kicked their butts, and we're going to do it again. We might lose in some cases, but at the end of the day, we got the right stuff. We're going to make that freedom spread out, and I appreciate every single one of you guys for tuning in. Listen, I love each and every one of you, just the right amount that makes you feel comfortable. I'm going to see you guys on the next one. I'm Braden. Later.